All right, so let's start in a seated position. If you have a couple blocks or a strap or a towel handy or nearby, that would be great. You can also sit on a cushion, but release your hips out nice and wide so your glutes root down. Your hip bones can spill forward just a little bit, but you want to make sure that your hips are a little bit more elevated, higher than the height of your knees. It's always great just to settle into your practice in your body first. So by connecting to your breath is the best way to get there. And so as we connect to our breath, also start to streamline your arms outward so that your fingertips can almost reach or touch the floor for some of you. And right away, you already feel this length in the whole lateral side of your neck and the scalene muscles of your neck. Pull your ears back and your chin back just a little bit. And then take a deep breath in through your nose. And an open mouth exhale. Another deep breath in. Deep breath out. And then one more, and just draw a length from your fingertips down into the floor. Let it go. And start to quiet in your thoughts so that you can refresh this day, just simply starting this new day today, building some awareness into the practice of yourself, just connecting to you. So start to welcome in your Ujjayi breathing. This is the breath of yoga as you inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. And I like to draw awareness to the breath as you almost feel the breath start at the very base of your pelvis and then wash the breath up through the front body, suspending above the very crown of your head. And as you exhale, wash the breath glide down your back body like a waterfall or like a wave in the background. So as you build this breath, now start to focus on the length of your neck. So our shoulders are such a complicated joint, really. It's one of the most complicated joints in our bodies. And all of the muscles and the ligaments attached to it can have a major play in the comfortability and the mobility and the strength of your shoulder. So just by waking up your neck muscles, the side neck, this encourages the length connected to the collarbone all the way down to the trapezius. So go ahead and move on to the other side. Reach your left ear toward your left shoulder and just draw the right fingertips downward towards the earth. And be sure that your ears and your chin is almost in line with your shoulders. So you're not drawing the neck, shoulder, or the ear forward in front of the shoulder or behind. It's all in one line. So a couple breaths there. Come back to center. Now breathe in, stretch your arms up and overhead, allow your fingertips to touch. And now this time lean over to your right side. Keep your left hip rooted down. Create this side body stretch and then send your palm to face forward toward the sand, the ocean, and the clouds. And now start to lift your chin upward. This is a nice lateral side body stretch. Really great for the top of your hips, psoas as well. And then inhale, come back to center, arms up. And exhale, lean over to your left. Again, feel the elbow in line with the shoulder. The right hip stays rooted down. Feels so good. And then come back to center. Deep breath in, fingertips touch. Now take a gentle twist over to your right. Left palm can wrap in front of the knees, a little bit of leverage. And the fingertips can be used behind just as a little bit of torque or tension. Allow the chin and the neck to twist lastly. So your spine, shoulders, everything connected to the neck needs to warm up before you start to build more of those static postures. And we'll move through some static and mobility postures today so that you can build the strength and the flexibility. So this time, go ahead and wrap your right arm tricep in front of your chest. Left arm and forearm can cross in front of the shoulder. Now tug the right shoulder back just a little bit. And again, feel that your neck and your chin are all in one line. It's almost like you're giving yourself a double chin. You're pulling the chin and the ears back. We get so used to staring at screens, drawing the chin and the neck forward. So part of the practice is just being really conscious of your actual posture. And then switch your arms. Good, and then open it up. And then stretch your arms up and over. This time, a nice tricep warm up. And then draw the elbow in like you're reaching your left fingertips behind your shoulder blades, like you're reaching for a loose hair. You can even start to lean a little bit to the right. And then come back, arms up. And then switch sides. Again, like you're leaning your head into the forearm. Allow your throat to open up just a little bit. So tight shoulders lead to tight back and neck. And the strength and flexibility lessens the stiffness that we'll have, so that we'll have freer and fuller range of motion, especially in all of your activities. Okay, so pretty warmed up there. Now draw some shoulders up toward your shoulder rolls as you breathe in, toward the ears and back, and then inhale and forward like butterfly strokes. And then opposite shoulder rolls, and then forward. Nice, all right, and then come forward. You can move your block to one side and get your strap nice and handy. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees, anchor the tops of your feet down, and then dip your belly for a cow pose. Draw the shoulders and the collarbones back, but keep your head nice and neutral. And then exhale to round and to hollow out. Draw your chin inward and tuck through the tailbone. Breathe in, dip your belly. This is called cow pose. And then exhale to round and to hollow. Now you're crunching through your core, you're awakening your front body, which is all connected and supportive for your back body. And then find your neutral spine. Now curl your toes and send the hips way over to one side. Hips can graze your heels, and then way over to the other. And then find your center. Walk the knees back a couple inches, lift through the hips, press back to downward facing dog. So pedal out your feet or walk out your dog. Take about 5 breaths here, feeling your biceps spiral away from your ears, your toes to spread out nice and wide. And as you exhale, your lower belly is pulled in nice and tight. Feel the collarbones spread out wide, creating space in the front body, the clavicle, and then the biceps roll away, creating space in the trapezius, so the shoulder blades, which play a major role in the support, the strength, and flexibility of your shoulders. And as far as your downward dog with the legs and the back body, you can always keep a bend or a gentle bend in the knees. You're more focused on a straight, long spine versus a round, heels down and the rounded back. So your knees can bend, low core pulls in, and over time your heels just work downward towards the floor. Take one more breath. Nice, and then gaze forward. Now I'll start to lower down to your elbows. This is called dolphin pose. So again, knees can bend a little bit. This is a nice shoulder stability and strengthening posture. Again, you can bend the knees a little bit, but encourage your heart to reach toward your toes. Spread the fingers wide, and the shoulders and the elbows and forearms are all in one line, so they're parallel to the sides of your mat. About 3 breaths here. This is a really great shoulder strengthener when we start to reach towards peak postures like shoulder stand, moving into some more arm balances. All right, and then go ahead and lift your elbows up and off, gaze forward, and then just walk your feet up behind your wrists. Come into a standing forward fold, and this is almost like a standing child's pose. So the knees bend quite a bit, and the arms can flop down beside you. So right away, your torso rests on your thighs, toes spread wide, stay with your breaths, and feel your upper body sort of round, and as if your head acts like a bit of a bowling ball. You'll feel like some tension, a little bit of release in the upper neck, loosening from the upper neck, again connected to the clavicle, to the shoulders. All right, and then you can grab the block, but place your left palm underneath your face, bend into your left knee, and extend your right arm up toward the sky. Start to open up through the chest, and then rotate your wrist one direction, and the other. Charge through the whole right side of your right pinky toe up through the right hip. And now stretch your arm forward, reach for the palm tree in front of you as you draw the shoulder back and down. Yep. And then slowly release. Bend into the right and extend, reach, so open up through the left. Rotate your wrist one direction and the other. So when you stay mobile with your shoulders, and like me, I've got lots of scar tissue and just build up from throwing the ball, from volleyball, from serving, from swimming my whole life. And they do get aggravated, especially like this past weekend after rock climbing and surfing. So stretching is the best way to keep things non-congested. So palms to hips, elbows point to the sky. Bend your knees, stretch your arms up and overhead, and then reach your arms up, allow your fingertips to touch, interlace your fingers, allow your feet to stay at hips width distance, soften the shoulders down. Reach up and over to your right. This is a gentle half moon. So again, the shoulders, hips, knees are all in one plane. It's sort of easy to send the bottom shoulder, swing it slightly forward, and maybe even the hips turn, but really try to stay that little bit of softening in the knees so you can tuck through the right ribs, and then the throat can open up. Come back to center, breathe in, and then exhale up and over to your left. So shoulders are a bit tricky because they have the adequate stability while maintaining full mobility to prevent injury and maintain maximum function and performance. We come back to center. This time go ahead and lean to the right, but now allow the right palm to root down, slide it down the leg, and allow your throat again to slightly open up. Now bend into the top elbow and just cradle your head back into your palm. Again, opening up right behind the trapezius and the shoulder blades. So I had a surf injury a couple years back, and really my arm just like kind of flopped around like the rag doll. You know how that goes sometimes. And it really tore a little bit of my trapezius, so the very back bottom edge of my shoulder blade. And that affected just the mobility all the way up into like the shoulder joint and up in the top of the shoulder. Stretch your arms up and over, and then fold forward, bow down, Uttanasana. Allow the chin to curl in lastly. Palms to shins. Take a halfway lift, breathe in. And then plant your palms, step to plank pose. Hold your plank, keeping the shoulders stacked. And then exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Again, building that same shoulder strengthener. Your Ujjayi breaths and the breaths out will start to warm up your body. Feel your quads lift up and off of your knees. And then gaze forward again, lower to your elbows. We'll move into that dolphin pose. So you might walk your feet up toward the elbows a couple inches. Again, knees can bend, tailbone lifts. Pull your lower core and your belly in. And then gaze forward with your palms down. Lift your elbows and your wrists up and off. So this time, lift your right leg up to the sky and bend your knee, open up through your hip and draw big circles with your ankle, and then with your knee inward and out. So believe it or not, our hips are the main powerhouse of our bodies, so our posture can get affected by the flexibility, the strength in our hips, which can over turn start to affect the mobility of your shoulders. Now flex through your floating foot, keep your hips nice and square, pull your lower belly in, gaze forward, draw your right knee toward your right wrist, moving towards half pigeon. So if you have any tighter knees, or if you already know right away that this is too much for the weight from your hips or your knees, you can go onto your back. So I'll just show that really quickly for those that are opting out of this posture. You lay on your back, you cross your right ankle over like a figure 4, send the tailbone down and encourage the right knee forward. Keep your right foot flexed so that your knee is not bothered. And then we'll come back to the half pigeon. So make sure the back toes are nice and straight, back behind, the heart is lifted. When you're ready, come on down to your elbows or your forearms. And you can make it really active right here. You can send the forearms down and pull or tug the right hip slightly back, left hip forward. And since my oils are handy, I'm going to grab the peppermint to continue to invigorate the breath. Our sense of smell is one of our most important senses, connected to our limbic part of our brain and our olfactory system. So it's that connection to our fight or flight, the emotional center of our being. So new smells, old smells can stimulate past experiences, memories, and then bring about new ones. So peppermint invigorates, it creates this awakening and clarity. It's also really great for your digestion, headaches. All right, so once your hips start to warm, now start to thread your left arm underneath your right armpit. You can gaze to the left. Now encourage your left shoulder to tug back and extend your right fingertips forward. Couple breaths here as you tug the shoulders almost in an opposing ways. All right, and then place the palm right in front of your face, come back to center, untwist. Root your palms down, curl your back toes under, and a little bit of core as you sweep the right leg up and back like you're moving in slow motion. Bend the knee, open up through the hip, rotate the ankle, the knee. Re-extend, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. And then lower to the elbows again for that same dolphin strengthening, shoulder strengthening posture. Every time you move into it, you should feel like you can go just a little bit deeper. Things are warming up. 2 breaths here. Come back to your downward dog and then lift your left leg up to the sky. Bend the knee, open up through your hip. Take your ankle circles, one direction and the other. And the big circles with your knee, hip. Re-extend, square the hips as you flex through your floating foot. Gaze forward, send the knee toward your wrist. Lower to the back knee. And then again, each side's a little bit different in your hips, so just check in, settle in. Make sure the toes are directly behind you, the heart is lifted. Encourage your front hip to pull back, the back hip to tug forward. Couple breaths nice and tall. This is also opening up through your low back. It's a gentle heart opener as well. And when you're ready, you can come on down to your elbows and your forearms. Again, you can tug the forearms down, creating that little bit of friction. And then when you're ready to come all the way down, you can, again, thread your right arm underneath the left tricep, the right ear roots down, and extend the left fingertips forward. Imagine your collarbones like a clothes hanger, so try to keep them really broad and wide. So I know many of you out there might have some past injuries or just some congestion that might make you feel as if you need to kind of stop the posture or the pose, and shoulder exercises can be painful sometimes. They're a little uncomfortable. It's important to find this like delicate balance between working and pushing too hard, but then also staying really flexible and moving through that discomfort. All right, sweep the left leg up and back, bend the knee, open the hip. Again, you can draw those circles in and out. And then release, downward facing dog. So 2 deep breaths here. Feel your lower ribs pull in. I can feel right away, it's already starting to go a little deeper, and then come on to the forearms again for that dolphin pose. And then push down. Let's go ahead and come forward to your tabletop and then lower down to your knees. Now this is where you can grab the block or the strap and the strap. Or you can also just sit down on a kind of a harder pillow or a bolster. But we'll move into some hips as well, extended hips. So cow face, you're stacking your right knee over your left. Shimmy your hips forward, front to back. This really helps me. So it might help to stand or sit on the block first. Now grab your strap or your towel and place your right arm up, holding one tail of the strap or the towel. Now bend into the top elbow, like you're again reaching between your shoulder blades, and your left arm extends out, thumb faces down. Now start to reach behind, so you're slowly welcoming in that stretch and tension without forcing it. So my shoulders again are super tight, so each side's a little different too as well. You'll also notice that. Flex through your feet, lean your head back into your forearm, try to lift through your throat. And then you can start to lean forward. And just slowly, with a tall, flat spine, you're leaning forward. There's a little bit of pressure in your forearm, and you're inching your way, or even just smaller than an inch. You're just creeping your fingertips toward one another. And it's good to hold this for about anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds only. And stay with your breaths. So shoulders have 10 different articulations, which makes them so complicated. So compared to the hips, which have 8 articulations, ankles have 2, wrists 4, and the spine has 5. So it's important to remind yourself that, you know, you can really mess up a shoulder in a sense by moving it too hard. You can also find this delicate balance between that stretch, strength, and flexibility. Oh, and slowly release. Roll the shoulders up toward your ears and relax them down. All right, come forward, and then let's just go ahead and extend the right leg. I'm going to move to the side so you can see for a 3-legged tabletop. So extend the right heel out, send the heel back, and then just switch sides. All right. So switching sides, again, you can sit on the block. The left knee can stack up and over this time. If your hips are super open, you may not even sit on the block. You may just anchor the feet down. Okay, so feet separate, and then both hips stay rooted down. So just find that first. This is really great for the lower glutes. All right, and then grab your strap or your towel or a t-shirt. This time, the left arm reaches up, bend into the top elbow. Again, your right thumb faces down. Slide the palm back behind and just slowly start to inch your fingertips up. Again, a little bit of pressure, leaning head into the forearm. Knuckles are bent. You're not gripping too hard. You're just finding this gentle, delicate balance in between. And as your spine lengthens up, as if there's a straight line from the tailbone up through the crown of your head, now start to lean forward with that same flat back. This side is much more tight for me, just the right side, dominant side. And so that's the beauty of this practice. It's like anything, the more that you practice and work through it, the more results that you will witness. And our shoulder structure being the complicated joint that it is, so it's composed of the clavicle, the collarbone, the shoulder blades, the upper arm bones, and then the 2 joints, the AC joint, and then the actual like bone, hip, the bone ball joint, right? That moves around, that makes it move into so many directions that it's moving through. All right, couple more breaths. All right, and then slowly rise, come on back up. Gently release your shoulder. Roll the shoulders up, take a deep breath in. And then relax down. And then the other side. Good. And then go ahead and come forward to that same three-legged tabletop. So extending the right heel back. And then the left. All right, and then let's go ahead and meet again back into your downward facing dog. So the shoulders are more open. The flexibility that you've created, but also the strength is activated and it's fired on. So let's come back to that dolphin pose. And we will move through your variations of shoulder stands. So since we've activated it, this is a great time to grab again your block if you have one. Arms or palms, fingers are at that L shape so that the thumbs reach toward one another, the fingers point forward. So you can stay right here. This is your shoulder strengthener and your dolphin pose. If you'd like to move through those variations or steps, you're actually shifting your weight forward so that the shoulder stacks right over the elbows. The gaze comes forward. Now work towards just gaining some courage, but also some awareness by lifting one leg and then the other. So you really want to encourage the pushing down of your shoulders. So rather than sinking and rolling in, you can already see that the joint is activated. So if you'd like to work towards jumping lightly, you can move through that. Work towards this quiet, quiet landing. Switching the legs. Coming down quietly. And then if you would like to feel the stacking of the joints, you're pushing everything up and away. And eventually your chin roots down toward one another. So we can move from there into scorpion. Another way that's supportive for people in their arms is to do a little bit of a triangle shape versus the block, right? So fingers are interlacing your fingers out. And you want to make sure that the pinky finger is rooted down so that it's not squished. One of my teachers taught me that. So again, you can start to push down into it. You're stacking. The trick of inverting is that everything feels really light. So I like this variation where you're not crunching through the back, but you're finding a little bit of like chair pose. You're building this natural curve in your spine, and then the chin can curl in lastly. So again, you're pushing the shoulders up and away from you, right? Versus sagged in. So that's the other support for your strength. All right, so when you're done, come on to child's pose, but extended, or a fetal position, so that the fingertips reach back toward your toes. Take a couple breaths. All right, and then come on forward again to tabletop. Last downward facing dog. 3 more deep breaths. Again, coming back to that same breath awareness. If anything, your breath is the most important thing to focus on. This helps you stay connected to present and a quieter mind. Shift forward to your plank and chaturanga all the way down to your belly. So anchor your toes down, and then for a moment, just for Sphinx pose, stack your shoulders over your elbows, anchor the forearms down, allow your feet to stay at match with distance, and just gently glide your heart forward. Pull your chin back and your ears back just a little bit, and then again, take those lateral scalene muscles stretch where you reach your right ear toward your right shoulder, draw the chin in toward your collarbone, chin toward your chest, left ear toward left collarbone. Keeping the neck nice and free and flexible, creating space so that nothing gets clogged up or congested. All right, and then slowly just release your forehead to the back of your hands. Sway your heels from side to side. And then go ahead and place your right ear toward the right, laying on the sand. Sand's so comfortable. And then place your right arm out laterally. So the thumb points upward, the palm is directly rooted down. Place your left fingertips at about a 90-degree. Now you're going to start to open up through the right side as you roll onto the right hip. So step your left foot up and over. Now you can right away feel this opening of the chest, the bicep, again, all connected to the shoulder. You can keep a micro bend in the right elbow if you need to. To go deeper, your left arm can reach up and over. You can start to work towards reaching towards your fingers, interlacing fingers back behind you. To go even deeper, the right hip can come down and you're opening up so that the knees point to the sky and you're reaching for your fingertips. Now my arm is nowhere that near to interlace fingers, but I do know some yogis out there that can do this, and I think that that's really amazing, and that's again the beauty of your practice. All right, so come on to your center. Let's switch sides. Left arm extends out laterally. Gaze to the right, right elbow roots down. Start to roll onto your left hip, stepping the right foot up and over. Again, you can adjust your extended arm. Left arm, top arm can reach up and over, taking that half bind. Maybe rolling the left foot up so that the knees point to the sky. Or again, eventually reaching fingertips. You can always use the strap here. All right, couple breaths there. If you have time, of course, stay longer, but not too long, again, because the shoulder is such a gentle and vulnerable, sensitive shoulder joint muscles. So now come onto your back, hug your knees in, and start to draw the knees inward and out. So if you're still with me and you have some questions to ask afterwards, please do so. We'd love to hear from you and help you out. All right, so now bridge pose. Shoulders are open. Ultimately, open shoulders support the opening of your spine. So bridge pose, feet or hips width distance, fingertips touch your heels. When you ground through your feet, peel your pelvis up and off, shuffle your shoulders in a whole lot, and interlace your fingers back behind you. Now really roll the shoulders open, the humerus open so that the heart lifts. Interlacing the fingers, relax the glutes and stretch your knuckles toward your heels. Now invite a little bit of pressure in the back of your head and your neck. This creates space and length, again, for the scaling muscles of your neck. Feels really good. Toes spread wide. Now go ahead and slowly lower and just rest your hips on your wrists and allow your feet to widen to the wide edges of your mat. Again, a little chest opening and expansion. All right, lift your hips, release the palms, lower your hips down, hug the knees in, tuck your chin so the back of your neck is long. All right, so for those that have worked through your wheel posture before and your shoulders feel open, we'll go ahead and move through that. If not, move through your bridge pose again. So the fingertips again, same start, fingertips touch your heels. When you're ready, you'll peel your pelvis up and off. So in wheel, make sure your hair is out of the way, your thumbs come in, pinkies out. Toes pigeon-toe just a little bit, so to start off, elbows point to the sky, root into your feet, and rise to the crown of your head first. Now see that your elbows roll towards one another, ground through your feet, and then you can slowly rise. Think of squeezing the block in between your thighs and your knees. Start to straighten your arms and then stretch your heart toward your elbows. Yeah. Couple breaths there. And when you're ready, go ahead and lower down to the crown. Curl the chin, back of your neck. Heels can lift. Slowly lower all the way down. Click your knees to touch for a moment. Feet out to the wide edges of your mat. Allow your whole low back to seal down to flatten out like a pancake. And then hug the knees in. If you have time to move through those in 2 or 3 more sets, that would be great. And then again, cup the palms over the knees. This is a really great hip stretch to draw the knees in and out, sort of like you're rowing a boat. Let the hips rock front to back. And now extend your left leg long. Hug the right knee in toward your right shoulder. Try to flatten your shoulder blades down, tucking the chin so the back of your neck is long. And then guide the leg up and over. A final twist, but also a chest and a shoulder expansion. So when you have length across the chest and the front body, you have length in the back body. So if anything, and you can do kind of like lazy style yoga, and if you're just laying at home or reading, you can wedge some blocks or pillows right behind your shoulders, the shoulder blades, like right behind your heart, making sure that your head and your neck are supported as well. This creates a gentle heart opener, just a relaxed yin style restorative posture. Come on back. Switch your legs, extending in the right, left knee hugs in. Again, chin tucks, shoulders root down. There's length through the whole right side, and then guide the knee up and over and extend your left arm out, gazing to the left. All right, and then slowly come back. Hug your knees in toward your heart. Give yourself a big squeeze. Recognize your breath, maybe even choose an intention to set the tone for your day. And then slowly release, relax to a mini Shavasana. If you have time, please stay here a little bit longer. Just take a couple breaths. Just feel every part of your body relax and become heavy. And then slowly wiggle your toes and your fingers. Stretch your arms up and over, point your toes forward. Hug your knees in, roll to one side, that fetal position, and then gently rise up. If you'd like to sit on a block, you can. This is another great time to use your essential oils to alleviate shoulder, neck pain. And then just interlace your fingers back behind you. Squeeze the heels of your palms or grab your strap or your towel. Send your knuckles down, lift through your chest, pull the ears back and the chin back a little bit. Feel your spine grow tall. Encourage the heels of your palms to reach toward one another. Final gentle chest expansion, heart opener, shoulder opener. And then let's take a deep breath in together. And an open mouth exhale. One more deep breath. Let it go. Stretch your arms up and overhead. Final breath in. Connect your palms to prayer and just glide your thumbs to your heart source. Bowing your chin down toward your heart in honor of your practice, your commitment to your physical, your mental, and emotional and spiritual bodies, to stay in tune, to continue to support you through that strength and flexibility so you can continue on with your activities, your mobility, and your fun. And in love and light to each and every one of you, thank you so much for joining. Namaste.